Let me reset the mic. Good afternoon. Good afternoon, Shaggy SoCal Tool for Forza, and time for the second track guide for the final race of the season in Thursday Night Thunder. NASCAR will be at Watkins, Glen on the short course. So, if you've watched enough of these track guides, you know what the normal thing is. Let me just go out and start running some laps, start talking about Watkins Glen. We'll do it. I'll do a slower track walk as far as the things I'm looking at, what this car seems to like. This one thing I will tell you, this car doesn't like this circuit. And then I will practice my questionable racecraft and decision making in a mock race, because I do want to try and validate what I think the race length will be on Thursday. So let's go ahead and get started. And even though this is technically the oval car, or the car I've been running on the ovals, or at least the livery I'm running on the ovals, it does have the road course tune on it. So okay, Watkins Glen. They're a very flowing, classic road circuit. It's all going to be about the draft and getting good run out of the bus stop, and hopefully we don't have any calamity into the bus stop. All right, so I'm always looking for the ambulance on the left side. And again, cold tires is going to push a bit on this first lap. A little bit of a check brake there. Get the car in, roll in. There we go, full throttle. Take out the little timing cone. You can line out in fourth, or you can shift to fifth, but either way, down to third through here. Back out, brake at the end of the tire bundles. Still pushing a little bit. Use as much curbing as you can. Don't hit the wall. Alright, one more lap. I'm going to brake at the end of the pit wall here. Down to third. You might need to go down to second, especially if you're in traffic. But if you're on your own, you can get down to third. Use all the curbing all the way to the end. Over there, cross over. Right to the curbing, cross over. Don't need to use that much curbing there, but you get the idea. Alright, let's see if we do the bus stop better. Use all of that curbing. Use all of the curbing. Push it a little bit wide, that's fine. Gonna bring it back across. Full throttle just as you get to the little corner worker stand there. Excuse me. Brake at the 300 board. Roll back in. I'm not using as much of the exit there as you can. And I think partly is just because it's such a short straightaway to until you have to brake for the final corner. But that's just 2 quick laps to Watkins Glen. So again, 4th gear, maybe 5th gear, heading down to turn 1. For me, I'm looking for, since I'm not running the braking line, I'm looking at the pit wall. It's easy to see the red banners at the end of pit wall, and kind of using that as that goes out of view to get on the brakes. It's just past the 300 board. It looks like it's about halfway between the 3 and the 200. But for me, that's a consistent enough braking point. If I can get in the right gear, brake, down. This is the 2nd or 3rd gear corner, depending on the situation and depending on your comfort level. If you find, if you're late to the brakes, or you're in traffic and you need to slow the car down a little bit more than normal, then put it in 2nd to get it to the apex and then roll out. If you're on your own and you can get your braking right, and you can carry good speed into the corner, you can do it in 3rd. Now that's my opinion. I might change even by the end of this stream, but Ideally, you want to get the car turned in and get onto the curbing, roll out of the throttle, back up to third. And for me, I, on my own, especially lap after lap, I'm just going to, you know, again, you could probably go a little bit further over the curbing, but usually I don't mind getting the left side tires on the, on the raised curbing and just staying on this curbing all the way down this short stretch. Um, that's my preference. It allows me to carry a little bit more speed out of turn one and opens up the entry, to the S's going uphill here for what, two, three. So I don't even know the turn number. So it's just up through the uphill S's here. So I'll be on the curbing all the way here. And what I do is I try to time it, turn in. As I get to the end of the curbing, I'll start to turn off so that I'm off at this point, turning into the S's. The S's for me is turn the car in. I'm going to probably late apex it so that I'm on the right side as the curbing ends. As I get to the end of the curbing, I'll start to turn it back to the left, cross over the middle. Same thing here. Get to the curbing, probably not get on the curbing let the car naturally kind of drift over to the curbing again, and probably third gear, probably then fourth gear, I'll do the final upshift before you get to the end of the curbing. So left, right, just try to keep it as straight and smooth as possible. Let the car come all the way out to the left. And then we're going to set up for the bus stop, which I think is probably going to be where, if there's trouble, this is where the trouble is going to be, and more than any other place on the circuit. What I've learned with this car, again, this car does not mind using curbing, and I think kind of like the bus stop or Le Bus Stop at Daytona, this curbing is actually a little bit, at least for me so far, this curbing is a little less treacherous than Daytona was. Like Daytona, there was a couple, like the way you turned into that one, if you got it wrong or you hit a bump wrong, it would really upset the car. So far, I haven't run into issues. I know there might be a little bit of an issue on the inside, the first inside curbing, if you get too much across where, you hit the backside of the curb and it'll upset the car. But generally what I'm looking to do is I'm getting down to the corner. I'm using the EMS ambulance here as my braking point. It's right before the 300 board. So, if you're using the braking line, there you go. But I will try to brake cheated in, so I'm kind of bringing it across the track into the bus stop. The first lap on cold tires is always going to be a bit treacherous, but for me, it's down to fourth, and then probably down to third as I get in there. And if I do it right now, it looks a lot different when I'm trying to do the track walk and go really, really slow. I'll be all over the place, but generally, I want to try and ride, just use all the curbing. This is the one where I think you might get into trouble depending on how you hit it or if it hooks on the backside. I don't know if it's one of those weird things. I have vague remembrances of previous times through here where we've all had something that's kind of caused the car the back end to bounce a little bit. But if I do it right, then I'm going to hit all the curbing here, keep the car shallow so that I can use all of the curbing across here. And then I'm just going to use all the curbing here and kind of point the car towards the outside tire barriers. Ideally, setting up for the carousel, I'm not going to go all the way out. If I do it right, I'm not going to go all the way out to the left side as I point towards those tires. I might keep it mid-track, maybe cheat a little bit, to the left of mid-track, but ultimately have the car out using the end of that tires that's going out. I'm going to brush brake it, definitely come off the throttle, may even give a little bit of a brush brake just to help get a little weight in the front of the car. And this long carousel, I find, is best done as a late apex, a later apexing corner. So I don't know that it's, getting all the way inside and riding the inside curbing all the way through. I don't think is the fastest way through here. We'll find out on Thursday. But generally what I try to do is I'm going to be back here off the throttle, let the car out. And a couple of things I'm looking for is one, that you can see kind of, you can see the ambulance there, you can see the access road that's going out. And if you look just off the curb, you see that little bit of dirt that's kind of spilled onto the racetrack. So that's the first thing I'm trying to look for. And it's not so much that I'm trying to get the car to the curbing at that point. I'm actually just trying to get the car to that dirt patch at that point. So still out, it's just slowly bringing the car back towards the curbing. For me, the main thing I'm looking for is this corner worker shack here just on the inside. I want to be at the curbing just as I get to it. And probably about here, this is where I'm going to start experimenting. Probably as far back as here, definitely as I get to it. Definitely as it's going off screen. I want to have the car to the inside, and I should be able to get right back and be at full throttle. So the experiment for me is how soon can I get to full throttle and still hold the line and not push wide on exit, because it's the Jackie Stewart philosophy. It's like, once you get back to full throttle, you want to be confident enough and smooth enough that once you commit back to full throttle, that you don't have to be kind of off and on, off and on, off and on. Especially, you don't want to have to come out of the throttle late in the corner. You want to try to get back to full throttle and stay at full throttle as long as you can. So that's what I'll be trying to do, full throttle here, but keep it to the inside. Again, we get a little bit of the banking. Coming out of the corner, I will let the car come all the way out to the left side, and I will probably get tires on or just cross over the curbing on the exit. It's not going to upset the car all that much. In fact, you're not going to get dinged for track limits until you get all 4 tires over the curbing. So definitely going to straddle it. And depending on my mood and depending on what's going on, I might either, get on the curbing and immediately just come back off of it and get on the racetrack and then heading down to the next turn. Sometimes, who knows, maybe I'll straddle it and just say, you know what, I'm not even going to let the car get upset going back over the curbing. I'll wait until it ends and then bring the car back across. We'll see how it is during the race. Heading down the last short straightaway here, another great place. You get a good enough run out of the carousel. You might be able to set up a pass with the draft. Otherwise, if you're on your own, gonna bring the car back over to the right side. This is one, if you should be able to, even if you get a phenomenal run out of the carousel, you can probably wind it out in 4th gear and not hit the rev limiter before you need the brake. So this is a preference thing. If you're more comfortable popping it into 5th before you get to the braking, that's fine. If you want to wind out in 4th, that's fine. I don't know if one is quicker than the other. It's really going to come down to driver preference. But at least in my opinion, once you get down to the braking, I'm going to brake about the 300 board here as it goes by, the first one. Brake, brake, brake. Whatever gear I'm in, I want to get down to 3rd. And for me, as far as turning in and apexing, I'm using the TV crane to help mark where the apex of that corner is. So if I do it right, I'm going to bring the car down, get to the curbing, maybe get on the curbing a little bit, roll back into the throttle on the way out. And, as I talked about before, you can use a bit of this exit curbing. I think this is another one that you can go, you can go all the way. It's not going to ding you for track limits until you go all 4 tires on the other side of the curbing, which is as it should be. But I think for me, if I can keep it neat and tidy on the exit, I will probably do that more often than not, or at least get the right sides on the curbing. Because again, it's a short enough straightaway. I want to get. For me, it's more critical to be neat and tidy here to get the car back over, because this last turn is more important than the turn I just came out of. Because that one leads onto the front straightaway and another opportunity to draft somebody and pass. So bring the car back over the left, still 3rd gear. I'm going to brake just as I get to the end of the tire wall, the tire barrier on the left side. Brake, 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 turn in. Now, my aiming point, if you look, it's just kind of how turn 10 is decorated the track. You can see a lot of tire marks early on the inside curbing, and then it kind of frees up. I'm actually, as far as the apex of the corner, you might think it's like, oh, the apex is where you see a lot of tire marks. And I will say, no, actually for this one, I would treat that kind of what they've done there is that's cars getting their right sides on the curbing as they're trying to get into the pits. We won't be doing that. But I think ideally the apex of this corner is just past where those tire marks end. So I'm going to try and get the car as best I can to the curbing about here. Ride the inside curbing. Out we go. I'm going to use all of the curbing on the left side, trying to make sure I get the car back onto the track before it ends, because again, it starts to an hour up and then you've got grass. So that gets you back onto the front stretch, and that is a lap of Watkins Glen, the short course. So really this one, there's not a lot of, like, Road America is that combination of high speed, high speed long straightaways. It's got a nice carousel, a lot of places to try and set up, classic draft, slingshot passes into braking zones. But it's got a little bit of a technical section on the back half where, you got to get the car through it. This one, except for the bus stop, this is just such a very flowing track. It is really just being as smooth as possible and maintaining as much momentum and much speed through the corners as you can. That will minimize, the risk of getting past, and hopefully help set up passes for you. So with that, I'm done talking here. Let's get out of this and let's do the mock race, because again, I need to practice questionable decision making in racecraft and validate what I think Thursday's races will be. And it's nice, I get to make the final decision. Let's get it. Oh, nope. No. Went back one too far. Free play. Let's go ahead and set this up. So advanced, choose the car. Chevrolet. Yep, we'll do that one. Okay, so let's go ahead and load options. Load saved options. Binka. That one. Road course. Okay, let's go back to my notepad thing here. Nope. There we go. Okay, so we'll set the race up first, and then I'll start talking about tires. So 25 laps. And come on, Watkins Glen, short circuit. We'll do random weather. This is another one where a sunset race is probably not a good idea. Again, night isn't horrible here. It's actually fairly well lit, but again, we don't have taillights, we don't have headlights. It's just dark enough, and the lighting, there's sections it's not quite good enough where I'd be like, oh, let's run a night race here. Rolling 420 random, again, no rain. Executive decision there. Rules. Okay, sport rules, I think that's all good. Standing, grid ordering, PI, we're not going to do it in ascending order. And actually, one of the things I want to do, that's the group roll-off delay. I want to increase the per car. Again, for the mock races, I kind of like having some traffic to work in. I'm hoping this circuit, they're going to do it on a one-stopper. I mean, there is one mandatory stop. I don't know why they would decide oh, we're going to make two. So, all right, let's see what we get. Sometimes I wonder if Forza's oh, he's talking about night. He must want night racing. No, I don't want night racing. Not here. Not with these cars. I mean, they look very nice under the lights, but it's not good for racing. So let me go. Let's change this. Event setup. Yeah, we'll do cloudy. We'll leave that alone. But let's do, you know what? We're going to do sunrise. I want to see what sunrise looks like here. All right, so let's talk about fuel and tire. So for 25 lap race, yeah, we got plenty of fuel. I'm not going to mess with that. All right, so our tire wear for Watkins Glen is, soft, medium, hard. It'll hit 60% roughly on lap 6, lap 8, and lap 11. And at least the softs are the ones that are going to have the most. It's one of those, I hit it in lap 6, but it was early enough in the lap. It was at 66% by the time I got to start finish. Now that's on a controller, so it'll probably be a little bit less than that for most of the wheel users. 8 for the mediums and the hards, they were just pretty much dead on at 60% as I cross the line. So again, on the wheel, that might be a 9 and a 12. If you want to check your tire wear. But we're doing 25 laps, and again, this is actually going to be a two-stopper, because ain't no way I'm going to try to do. Well, again, we have to run two different compounds. It's not like, hey, if I can get 12 or 13 laps on the hards, then I do 12 laps, and it's like, no, you have to run two different compounds. So looks like it's going to be a two-stopper. So 8, 19, 18. So if you want to play conservative, you do one stint on each tire based off those estimates. You've hit the end of the race. That's assuming it's 25 laps. So let's get into it. Let's figure out what we're going to do. So actually, that's what we want to do. Is I'm going to just run. I'll run 11, 8, and then 6. So pit on lap 11, pit on lap 19, and then softs to the end. I think that's good. 90%. And let's go ahead and start race. That's a pretty sky. I'll probably be messing around with seeing what the different times of day look like, to try and figure out, as far as what we're going to do on Thursday. Because my general philosophy is that I think, maybe one Road America, maybe run Road America in the morning, and then maybe Watkins again later in the afternoon. I don't know. I'm still thinking about that. But if I'm not going to do rain, I'd like to do at least some little bit of visual, challenge, not just run like, oh, let's run like, middle of the day with no clouds in the sky. We had plenty of that in Forza 7. Let's take advantage of the daytime stuff. Whoop, sorry. Thing too is, I'm going to look at the options again. Is while you have like presets of like sunrise, morning, noon, stuff like that, I think you can even, if I go into custom, I can actually specify the start time. So like, for sunrise is typically 6 a.m. Well, maybe, then maybe like morning is closer to like 9 or 10. Maybe I started at 8. So that's a little bit more sunlight in the morning. And he's going for the crossover, and I'm going wide.
Total time penalty is about a second.
Oh. Even this is a little bit darker than I would want it to be, even though it's going to get brighter as the race goes on. Outside, you're leaving more room out there. a little bit late, pushing wide, that's fine. Just bring it back in, roll in, still get late apex on the exit. Should still get like an 8 something on the segment score. 9.9. Wow, really? It wants you to go that wide? Still pushing a little bit there. Yeah. Didn't brake hard enough. Pushed a little bit. I got to the curbing a little earlier than I wanted to. Had to back out. Not getting the car slowed down enough in third to make the corner. And that's probably more of a me issue than a tire issue. That's early. I'm gonna take a look. I'm not sure if I'm gonna make that. Nope. All right, we're gonna do something risky. Yeah. If calamity's gonna happen, that's where it's gonna happen. Somebody's gonna be like, we're side by side through there. We can go side by side through the bus stop. And if I think the car is pushing a little bit, I'll just kind of back out of the throttle and roll back in, just to help give the fronts a chance to bite without really having to dial in a lot more steering, which would wear the tires out more. Yeah, that was halfway decent. Tires. 34. funny thing is these hard tires, it's like it takes that first lap for them to come up to temperature, but then it's like it takes then a few more laps until they're really, at least to me, are fully up to grip. And as I say that, as I push wide. So you can see if you can get the car into the bus stop well, you should be able to then commit back to full throttle and just kind of take a very straight line out. It's getting it into the bus stop is the challenge. At least for me it is. Second gear, second gear may be the way to go. It's kind of like some of the corners I was talking about at Road America, where it's like you might use second gear to get into the corner, and just as you roll into the throttle, short shift up to third, just to help with the wheel spin out. A little too much speed in. Push, 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 push. That's gonna cost me. No. Okay. Surprised. Things for certain, that morning race is gonna, the sun's gonna, it's gonna be right in our eyes out of one. Whoa. Minor, so yeah, I'll probably see what the tires are. Lap 11 as I get to the end of the kind of the quote-unquote backstretch. And those turns could have been better, but again, I can't talk and drive at the same time. And a little confidence lift as I turned in, just to help, again, just to help get the fronts to get that initial turn in. If I tried to do that on throttle, the car probably would have pushed a little bit. Ooh, someone's having a bad day. So that 11 guesstimate is still pretty accurate. Excuse me, pardon me, excuse me, pardon me, excuse me, pardon me. Okay. And let's just keep it on the inside and bring it into the pits. Alright, that was hard tires, 110.2. Good to know. Yep, we'll go to the medium. Skip. Should have plenty of fuel. Now, Last time we were at Watkins Glen was in the Porsche GT1 Strassen version. And I don't know exactly what I did, but something when the car released, I don't know if it just too much throttle, too much steering or something, the car went sideways on me. And, you know, the lease cost me 1 or 2 places, so it's gonna be on my mind on Thursday. It's like, how do I just wait until you're released, give it a moment, then roll back into the throttle and get your steering set. But as you can see, it wants to put you out. I wish it would release the car a little bit more, in line with pit exit, cool tires, to where you're not coming out across it, but it is what it is. All right, so we're up to 15th. Everybody's made their first stop, so I'm on medium tires. Let's see if we can catch 14th here. Yeah, so that's what I want to be doing across the curb. I just can't get I'm not getting my braking done well enough to do that. Okay. I'm doing a little bit of a check brake there just to help get the fronts to bite. We are gaining. I mean, old habits die hard, but I probably should be braking a little sooner. Oh, big cluster. Car's not going to ghost out. Forza, please work on your driver tires so that they have a little bit more, situational awareness to when the player car is beside them. Oops, excuse me. Excuse me.
Total time penalty is about 3.5 seconds.
Whatever. It is what it is. Okay, that was better. All right. So I did make a slight adjustment there on the braking. Instead of waiting until the end of the red, I just kind of braked as I got to it. And it seemed to be enough to help, get the car slow down where I could really use the apex curbing as I should be. Now, will I remember that by the time we get to Thursday? Probably not, but okay, I'm just gonna take to the inside here. We'll go 3 wide in the carousel.
Total time penalty is about 4 seconds.
Wow. I mean, it's like, I know I braked a little bit earlier because I was so far to the inside, but it's like, wow, he's going to make that stick? Nope, he's not. He's going wide. And not a little wide. Still make it work. It still gives me a 9.9 on the segment score. I'm kind of surprised at that. And the segment scores are nice to say, oh, hey, 9.6 out of 10, that's good. But it really doesn't, if you're not doing it right, it doesn't really, it's not really informative, whoops, of, what was done well versus what could be improved. And I know that then, the thought is like, oh, well, then that's why you turn the braking line on and like that. But it'd be kind of nice to get a little bit better, like, hey, this was great. Your braking was great, but your turn-in sucked. Like that. So, okay, that's a bit better. Now that was braking about where I've normally been braking, but just consciously going, okay, I gotta put more, more brake pressure, brake harder. What are we doing on tires? Interesting. And again, this might be, I got lighter fuel load. Track is also rubbering in. So we're 52. So, yeah, you might be able to get another lap out of it. 11:8:19. Yeah, we're going to go ahead and hit this lap. And we'll go to the softs to the end. So yeah, so hard tires right about 11. On the wheel, you might get 9 out of the mediums. Again, that 9th lap, you're going to be going over 60%, but it doesn't look like it's too horrible. And then we'll see kind of where we're at with the softs by the time we get to the end of the lap as we beat, as Jeff Gordon beats Dale Earnhardt out of the pits. Okay, so 19 seconds is to make up in 6 laps. Now, it wouldn't surprise me if, knowing the way Forza is, that even though I've done 2 stops, everybody else is going to do 3. But I'm hoping. Let's hope Dubas can stay out till the end of the race. It'd be nice to try and run him down. It's a little late. A little too much braking. Turned in there. Did that badly. Do that. Yeah, definitely the soft tires, I can do that. I'm more comfortable in 3rd there, just because the extra grip. A bit late for there, but a little bit early on the brakes, but that's fine. So I was also kind of looking at the map and just looking at intervals, and assuming Dubas isn't going to pit, I don't know that I'll catch him. My only hope is A, that I don't screw up, but it looks like he's coming up on some slower traffic, and you know, because the driver tires don't know how to race themselves, maybe I can get close here in the next lap or two. But at this point, it is highly unlikely. Or actually, the car immediately next in front of me is a lapped car, so I've got traffic to work through in the last lap as I push wide. There's Minor. That's why I'm pushing.
Last lap.
Look at that. That's probably the best I've done that all race. Okay, come on. Good line up the hill. That's good. Do I have the grip to go on the outside? Maybe. He's getting a little wiggly. That's a little wide, a little wider than I'd want to take it, but that is Watkins Glen short course in the NASCARs. So 108, that's on the soft tire, but oh, okay, yeah. So at 30 minutes, I'm like starting like 24 seconds behind. I'll probably knock a lap off. So I'd say we'll probably do 24 laps then on Thursday, because that'll knock it down to like 29 minutes there, and that should give us, you know, again, I, they'll probably run a little long, but I think 24 laps will be in the ballpark for what we need to do on Thursday. So with that, that is track guide for Watkins Glen in NASCAR, final race of the season. Definitely not going to do sunrise for either. I think it's still a little too dark, but yeah, I'm gonna play around with time and weather and see what I can throw at you guys on Thursday. Uh, and if you don't like it, you can complain to Matt, and then I just won't ever have to host again, which I might be okay with that. But hope you guys are having a good afternoon. It's a beautiful day here in California on Saturday, and we'll see you on Thursday. Happy racing. Live streaming.